Welcome, everyone. It's a very special episode here of the Buck Stops here where, oh my God, it is my favorite time of year. Football is here. Hockey's about to start. Basketball is getting in full bloom, but the baseball playoffs are about to start. And I've got with me a regular Baseball Hall of Fame attendee.
That's right. Yep.
Yep.
8 years of the last 10.
Yep. The man who does the Sportsman of the Week. Actually, do you have that ready?
Not yet. Nope.
Not yet?
Been
Okay.
slow rolling it. Yep. So no
All good.
spoilers. We'll see.
All good. All good. But check those out. Uh, it's Longhorn Dave Whitlock. Actually, where can people check out your Sportsman of the Week that has gone on for 11 years now?
13.
13 years. Oh my God.
Yep.
It's
13 plus.
13 years. It's a teenager. It now does not like you, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. Nope. We're well into the 700s or so, but it's www.lhd-on-sports.com. Longhorn Dave on Sports is the moniker, and so yeah, every week I put out a very short blog, very readable. You can read it in 2 or 3 minutes of just a summary of who I think the best player that week was in any sport. Could be last week it was pole vault, but it could be football, it could be golf, it could be ice skating, it could be just about any track and field, basketball. Just pick somebody that I think stood out and write just a short summary of their accomplishments. And it's a little bit of a Hall of Fame, so to speak, of all the people that have accumulated
Mhm.
their entry into it. And many times it's an amateur athlete. We've had Japanese baseball athletes, so it goes around the globe.
Well, and some of the people we're going to be talking about briefly here today probably have been a Sportsman of the Week or could be a future one.
Absolutely. A lot of this time of year, like you said, Kirk, there's a lot going on with football, but really postseason baseball is where the real heroes seem to emerge, whether it's a pitcher, shutting down a team in a decisive game, or a player, like a Mookie Betts or Freddie Freeman last year hitting big home run after
Oh,
big home run in the postseason.
yep.
Can't deny that. So it's a great time for sports, as you said.
Well, it's wild card week. And correct me if I'm wrong, this is a little bit different than they did this before. It's a series of three where anything can happen, but the higher seed will have all three games and all right in a row. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like this is great. This is perfect. This is what MLB is doing so well and WNBA is not, but that's another story for another time. I'm not going to go there. Am I right on this? I don't remember this with the setup before.
Yeah, for a few years, maybe, the COVID year really reset everything because it was just a 60 game season. And so they really didn't penalize you for a bad start. In fact, the Astros, my Astros, were a below 500 regular season team and still made the league championship series because they basically threw in anybody who had a shot in it. And also because all the restrictions you couldn't play anybody outside your division. They were trying to restrict this cross play. So for all the right reasons, but it seems like after that, on
Mhm.
the exact year, they went away. They had a 1 game wild card for many years where they basically, I think the top two wild card teams would just play each other, 1 game play in, and then that would get down to the four with the three division champs plus that team. And they decided, which I thought was exciting, a little punitive, but hey, you're the wild card team. Now they backed off of that. So you get these 3 game series. I like that they do
Yeah.
it all in one stadium, right? You're not trying to travel off days and get all your pitchers fresh. It's like, nope, it's a 3 game series, just like you see in the regular season. You got to go win that series on the road, and they pulled the third division winner down, so that gives some incentive to the top division winners to be one of the top two to get that bye, and then add the extra wild card. And so it does make for, they all start on the same day, Tuesday. They all end on Thursday. There's no staggering. My complaint is having, again, the success of the Astros has spoiled me, but they would always put us at the noon games on Tuesday, Wednesday, because New York, Boston, LA is all going to play the late game. So
Right.
you got to play why can't they have 4 games, in the top primetime slot, have 2 at 6, 2 at 9, something like that. You can have two TVs.
Well,
You
you
can,
don't work at home like I do, so for me, this is great.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. So I'm going to miss 2 games tomorrow. I'm going to miss the first 2 games. I've,
Yeah.
got to go to the office. I'll keep an eye on them, but wouldn't it be great if I could come home, have basically 4 games to pick from? One gets to be a blowout. You can flip to the other one. I can't imagine the ratings are so much better at 2 o'clock on TNT on a Tuesday than they would be at prime time, on one of the networks. And so I haven't quite gotten that. It's not as good for fans. Again, midweek, they'll go support. The stadiums will be filled, so that's not an issue. But I just wish they would go to. You don't. Do you see NFL games at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday? No. Do you see NBA playoff games at noon? No, they stack them in the prime time. Hockey, all that. Like you and I, big hockey fans. The first round of playoffs, there's like game after game. You tune in. It's basically 6 o'clock till 1 a.m, and you're watching games. The early coast starts at 6. You start to stagger the games, and then you go to 1.
To be fair, though, baseball does have that history, unlike the other sports, of embracing the day.
That's true. I'll give you that. Yeah, I like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a callback that I'll get to a little bit later for my own personal past that is kind of cool. But to me, it's cool. To everyone else, not so much. So I'm going to start off here because we just wanted to do a quick preview and prediction.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah, and we've got the Cincinnati Reds. Like, I don't think if we would have said, like, who's going to be here, I wouldn't have picked the Reds. I don't know if you would have. No, okay.
No, not at all. I have a coworker that's a big Reds fan, and I was giving him grief at the water cooler this week or 2 weeks ago, and I was like, I think the Reds may be out of it, and he kind of said, yeah, they're just a 500 team. Well, both can be true. They're a 500 team, and in the playoffs. And so I like to see we'll get into all the things. I like to see a young team and a new team get in. And no offense to the Mets, but I like to see Ellie De La Cruz and some of those guys get a chance in the postseason.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a show just on Pete Alonso saying, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah,
yeah, because for those who didn't see it, and it's a big news item on any other week, but Pete Alonso was opting out.
It was like third page news. I mean, with everything else going on, with all the NFL injuries and Ryder Cup and the baseball and who won what. Yeah, I barely saw that. I was like, wait, is that for real? Because it's a big deal. But
yeah, the Mets implosion, I feel kind of validated on Twitter because I said, or X, whatever the fuck, where I said, like, it's the biggest implosion I've ever seen. And some people said, like, oh, Detroit says hold your beer.
Yeah.
No, I was right. But we'll get there. We have the Reds versus the Dodgers, who are not maybe, they're the most potent wild card team here. And for me, it's kind of simple. It's the Dodgers only have one weakness, and that's their bullpen.
Yeah.
And if Cincinnati's going to win, they're going to have to do it really, really quick. I've learned a lesson, just again from my past. Cincinnati is part of the biggest upset that I've ever seen that gets no credit. 1990, they swept the World Series against Oakland.
He dominated that series, yeah.
Which I don't know what the odds or money line would have been on that. But Dave, if you and I can get a DeLorean,
right,
we're going to go to that, and that's going to be like the biggest one. Or just like bet people in the stadium.
Yeah, like Pete Rose used to do, there in the Cincinnati dugout.
Yeah, but he could go in the door and like, hey, you're Pete Rose. We're not famous yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. So like, for me, that's really where I look at this. This is I'm doing this in the order, well, not order. I started in the National League. I don't have that much interest in this series only because I think the Dodgers are going to mop the floor with them. Saying that, what did I just say? Things can happen. Everything is going to sort of like start off with Hunter Green. Hunter Green's going to have to win the opener. I don't know that he can. Blake looks like he's against Blake Snell from what we've been reading. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but even then, the top of the order for the Dodgers it's the sickest lineup in baseball currently with Ohtani, Betts, who's back. Betts has not been good.
And healthy, yeah.
Yeah. Betts is playing good. Freddie Freeman. It's going to be really, really tough. When I look at everything like position to position, And I'm going to assume that Will Smith won't be healthy for this one. I don't think it's really going to matter. The only thing that sort of like happened for Cincinnati is if Hunter helps him steal one, and Ellie De La Cruz is the best player in baseball. What do I have wrong here?
No, nothing at all. I don't see this being competitive. The Dodgers, being shuffled to the third seed is a disadvantage. You're going to have to go through some of your pitchers, some of your relief pitchers. Guys like Will Smith don't get rest that perhaps they need it. But the top of their lineup is strong. I will say I think the bottom of their lineup is average. It's not bad, but it's navigable.
It's
So yeah. Most bottoms of the lineup aren't stacked. I mean, there's been certain teams, but this for a team that is this sort of payroll, it sticks out a little bit to me as
right.
If you get to the late innings and that part comes up, you might be able to get through it. But you're gonna have to have a really special effort from a starting pitcher, which can happen. We've seen it happen before. And or just a big inning where something implodes for the Dodgers, either defensively or a pitcher loses control. But otherwise, I don't see this being any way but 2-0 Dodgers. They're too good. I mean, they're playing a 500 team. I think from a competitive standpoint, it would have been maybe more fun to see the Mets, to see the Alonsos and the Sotos play them, but they didn't on their way in. And like I said, I want to see new teams in. I'd like to see the Reds, the Pirates.
Right.
Now the Tigers are in, the Blue Jays are back. So I want to see some of these other teams in rather than the same ones, even the Astros. But yeah, I don't see this going more than 2-0, and then the Dodgers will get some rest and then key up for I guess it would be the Phillies.
Phillies, yeah. And as someone who has no dog in this fight, and I guess you're the same. How do you not want to see the Dodgers Philly series? I know I do.
That would be the world or the series of the two teams the Astros beat in the World Series in previous years. Keep talking about that, but no, that would be an epic matchup because that was that.
Why shouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, I really like the Phillies. I like the Dodgers. Most Astros fans don't like the Dodgers. It's hard not to like Freddie Freeman. It's hard not to like Mookie Betts. It's hard not to like Shohei Ohtani. And so they're a good team. The Phillies. I'm a big Bryce Harper fan. We're not getting into that till we get there. But yes, agree. I think the Dodgers are gonna take this series pretty easily unless some really wacky things happen.
Which very well can.
Yeah.
Especially if it's early in a fifth inning and it's still even. And I like the Reds bullpen over the Dodgers bullpen.
Yeah.
It's going to be their weakness.
That is an Achilles heel. Yeah. They tried to load it up with all-stars and it just hadn't worked out with injuries and otherwise.
Yeah, no, it hasn't. This one's very fascinating to me. And so here's a question for you. So you're an Astros fan, probably born and bred, right?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have sort of like a second team that you have a soft spot for?
Yeah, Baltimore Orioles. I was actually born in Maryland, so Orioles
okay.
first, but then got to Houston when I knew what baseball was, and but I still remember some Orioles days.
So not born and bred, but bred in Houston.
Yeah, raised certainly.
Okay. My version of Baltimore is San Diego.
Okay.
So I will always have a soft spot for San Diego, probably because my second favorite player, because I grew up as a Pete Rose fan, as you may know.
Yeah.
And then after that, I migrated to Tony Gwynn. And here's something I didn't realize. Last time the Cubs met the Padres in playoffs is something I remember very, very well.
I forgot about that series. Yeah.
So did I until I was doing my research. Yeah. So it was like in 84, Tony Gwynn and the Padres against Ryan Sandberg and the Cubs.
That's a great series.
It was. Yeah, something I remember very, very well. My God, I'm aging myself, but I'm old. What are you going to do? And the winner gets Milwaukee. And this is going to be something I can't wait to watch. And here we have two teams with so many flaws. San Diego with their starting pitching, but not their relieving.
Right.
And Chicago with the sort of the opposite. Although Matthew Boyd and Shota Imanaga, I wouldn't call them like a 1-2 punch, but I got him over Pivetta and Cease.
No.
And heaven help the Padres if it goes to Yu Darvish. Who's, yeah. But the Padres bullpen is, oh my God. You lose Jason Adam, and you still have Mason Miller, Jeremiah Estrada, Adrian Morejon, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, and Robert Suarez.
Yeah, that is loaded.
Yeah. So San Diego is obviously going to sort of like play the way they modern baseball is, get to the sixth inning and sort of like go from there. And as we're sort of like looking up through everything, there's other players that I just sort of like wanted to point out, just from my own past. I mentioned how much I love Tony Gwynn, right?
Mm-hmm.
If 12-year-old Kirk could become 12-year-old Kirk in 2025 with the same ethos, my favorite player would be Luis Arias.
Yeah, same style of play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't strike out, put the ball in play. Yeah.
Without realizing that baseball's changed.
Yeah, right. But he's a throwback. Arias is. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, a 3-time batting champion who did that with 3 different teams, technically.
Mm-hmm.
He was traded on one of them. I'm looking through everything with San Diego and Chicago. I mean, like the big guns, there's more big guns with Chicago. Nico Dansby, Pete Crow Armstrong, Seiya Suzuki, who's getting no love.
Yeah, really, for a forgotten guy, a great hitter.
Yeah.
Prototypical Japanese hitter, puts the ball in play, a little bit of power, goes to all fields, all those type of things.
Yeah. But we have, but you're up against guys who have been believed to be great for a long time. Machado, Tatis, Xander. Well, Xander's not the same as Bogarts, but Tatis and Machado still are.
Yeah.
And I've got San Diego taking this one. This is the only road team I've got. I'm kind of tipping my hand here, even though I think my new favorite player next year, that's a non-Blue Jay, is going to be Pete Crow Armstrong. If it isn't already.
I love that guy. Yeah.
But I've got San Diego taking this.
I think so too. Now, first of all, back to our original conversation. Now, this is a series that has to be 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon at Wrigley Field. That is the way the playoffs should be played.
Right.
So I will concede.
That's opening, right? That's going to be the opening one tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't know which of the 2 starts first, the Cleveland one or that, but they'll be on the kind of 2 slots. But yeah, so I think that this is probably the one I have maybe the least confidence in that I really think both teams have weaknesses. I think both teams have strengths. They both have exciting players. Yeah, Pete Crow Armstrong just burst on the scene with his 30-30-30 season. Total fan favorite. Does it, he hustles, he runs base to base, home plate to third, covers the outfield, with that speed. And then you've got these kind of niche players like a Bush, like a Horner, like a Happ, that they're a good fielding team. I do think that their weakness is probably the depth of pitching, which in a 3-game series you can get away with, particularly in the bullpen. But I think I like the Padres too. I think it's just like one of those Cubs things that the Cubs, they put together a good team. They have a lot of wins this year. They're one of the top 3 or 4 teams in wins, but behind the best team. But I just think the Padres are going to do it. The Padres struggled this year in the head-to-head against the Dodgers. They won't have to face them potentially until the NLCS. And so I'm going to go, Padres in 3. And I wouldn't be surprised if a couple games went extra innings and maybe the Padres won both of them, just again on the depth of bullpen situation. Because you get into those late innings, both teams have firepower on offense. Both teams play defense. Like you said, the Padres are probably a little bit more aging with the Bogarts and the Machados, playing, but they're still high caliber players. I like Machado's one of my favorite players too. So, and then Tatis is a superstar. So, Padres in 3. Probably, I see these games being the closest. I could see each one going 1 run either way. I think it's so evenly matched.
Okay. All right. So we're on the same page there again. Let's go to the American League. And this one, oh my God. All right. So let's say we're going to do the time travel thing.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Right. I was I want to do that, because I referenced the DeLorean earlier.
Right. Yep.
How great is it that we're the same age and we get the same references?
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah, half the audience is like, who are these 2 old guys? But that's okay.
Based on the audience from my analytics,
no, they're right dialed in.
Yeah. We have Cleveland versus Detroit, and early early July, Cleveland was toast. Uh, when did they lose Class A, or when did Class A decide I'm just going to bet on myself? Literally.
Yeah, I think it was June, July. I mean, it seemed to be before the All-Star break. It's about
So
halfway through.
so they lose Class A, and at the All-Star break, they did trade Bieber. I was supposed to say Justin Bieber, but Shane Bieber. So they were a selling team, and they were what 15 games behind Detroit, who were, I guess we can now say, was overachieving. They were locked in at number one, and it wasn't even close.
Yeah, no, they were just they were pounding teams.
Yeah.
Everybody in the rotation was doing great. You know, guys like Javi Baez was stepping up and making all-star teams, and the guys, the 220 hitter, it was kind of like, wow, they really putting it together. Wah, wah.
Yeah, actually, my line was, well, but yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. It's
So,
162 games, not 100.
and it doesn't matter what the sport is. I don't have to tell you this, Dave. When you're a team playing with house money, like the Cleveland Guardians are, or as my wife, when she looked at everything I said I was going to do, she said, "Oh, the Guardians." Okay,
Yeah,
English is not her first language.
fair enough. Yeah,
Yeah. And how's your
phonetically.
Oh, it's not great. Oh, there you go. But anyway,
Yeah.
But God bless her. By the way, it was her idea. We went to Washington, Ohio State on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
My
Was it
first
fun?
conference game.
Awesome. It looked like a pretty fun game.
It was a lot of fun, and that was her idea. I wouldn't have done it.
Awesome.
So
Good for
to wives.
her.
Well, okay, for in my case, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Cleveland here, they've got house money. No one expects them to do anything. There's no pressure on this team because they should not be here, and they have home field advantage.
They do.
That is, I'm trying to think of anything I can come up in my past in sports where a team had nothing to lose, but entered their first series with home ice, home field, home court. I can't come up with one.
Yeah, no, usually they're into the back of the end seed. Some of the Super Bowl teams that were 5 or 6 seeds, came on strong, but had to kind of play their way in. And
Yeah.
so yeah. Now so they're yeah, home field, which is a big home field when they fill up that place. We saw it a lot last postseason. That crowd was just absolutely rocking after some of their big moments.
A great stadium. I had the pleasure of going there. It was so long ago. Who would I see as their star? Cleveland star was Travis Fryman.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The guy who threw out the first pitch, the late great Buck O'Neill.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm a big Buck O'Neill fan. I almost wore a Buck O'Neill jersey to this show.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
I was debating one with the 45s, but
Yeah. Yeah. So like
yeah.
sort of like going back for that. Where Detroit's got an edge is Tariq Skubal. He's gonna be
Yeah.
the starting pitcher. Uh he's obviously the best pitcher, period, in this series. Almost in any series that we're probably going to talk about if Detroit advances. And he's going to have to win, and they're going to have to let him go deep. They're going to have to sort of like
Yep.
they're going to have to avoid how we're sort of taught in modern baseball, because I know that if Dave, you and I, if we went sort of like going back into the time machine, and we said like to young Dave and young Kirk, hey, by the way, we're going to be really happy if our starter gets 6 innings.
Yeah, you'd be in trouble if your starter only got 6 innings back in the day.
Right. Because like, who wouldn't your big guy? Because like mine would have been Dave Steeb.
Yeah, I was thinking. Well, I was thinking to that era, not necessarily my guy, but the guys like Dave Stewart, obviously Jack Morris with that famous performance. But the
Well, no, but
Rays,
like you were NASCAR's guy, so like who would have been that guy in the same?
yeah, there's even guys like
When was
Nolan Ryan,
Ryan there?
obviously Mike
Yeah,
Scott,
yeah.
Bob Nepper in the mid
I
'80s.
remember Nepper. Yeah.
He would put together. He was the starter in Game 6 that against the Mets, 1986 NLCS Game 6, famous
Yeah.
around here. And then later, Roy Oswalt was the guy. I mean, you give the ball to Oswalt, he was going to go 7 innings, and he'd do it in about an hour and 42 minutes because he just rocked and fired. Shane Reynolds was another guy, even Jose Lima. So yeah, the Astros were known for some of their longer tenure guys, and I'm going right with you on the Skubal thing. They're going to need him to win that game.
Yeah, absolutely going to have to, because I have their starters a lot better than Cleveland. Uh, but once it goes to the bullpen, one of my favorite players this year has been uh, Hunter Gaddis. Yeah, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
He was good.
yeah, so we'll see where that sort of goes. As we're sort of like looking at everything, like Detroit, like you said, like you mentioned Javier Baez and a lot of those players. There are a lot of one-dimensional players who were good, like Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, but the top dog there is Jose Ramirez. And again, Jose is on the team where it's like, fuck it, we don't care.
Yeah.
And I love Jose. So like I can see him just sort of saying, like, just rally the troops. I've got Cleveland in 3.
Yeah, Jose Ramirez is definitely one of my favorite players. A switch hitter. Seems like he doesn't get as much credit. I think it's weird, but because he plays in a market like Cleveland, that's a 85 to 90 win team, not a Yankees or Dodgers. And also his name is kind of ordinary. I mean, it's a weird thing to say, but it's just like, okay, Jose Ramirez. It doesn't jump out at you like Shohei Ohtani or Aaron Judge, with these themes. But anyway, I think he's one of the great. He can be a streaky player. He'll go really cold, and then if he gets hot, you can't get him out. I like Stephen Kwan at the top of that lineup. He does everything. And they've got, some good hitters up and down, but I think, and I'm biased because the Astros got their butts kicked by the Tigers last year on just exactly as you'd order on the menu. Skubal goes game 1. They got enough runs to make it easy for him. And then it was a bullpen game 2. So you had 6 or 7 guys out of the bullpen, all with a 1.8 ERA and 14 strikeouts per inning. And from the right, from the left, from the right, from the left, and our offense couldn't figure it out. So I think they could be the Tigers in 3. If they don't get the Skubal game, throw that out the window. It's over. But I think Skubal, he did it last year in the postseason. He'll be dialed in. They can get him some help to get through that game if they need to. And in a short series like this, you can roll guys out 3 days in a row if you use them an inning each. But I think the Tigers, even on the road, just like they did against the Astros last year, I think, and afternoon games, and so you don't get that maybe a little bit more juice from the night crowd. I got the Tigers in 3. I'll go Tigers in 2. I'll go Tigers in 2. I think Skubal wins, and they do like they did the Astros last year. They throw bullpen chaos at you in game 2, and get it done in 2.
Okay. I forgot to mention that the winner plays Seattle.
Yep.
And the final one, obviously for a Toronto Blue Jays guy, which I am, this is sort of like I'm all in on this one.
Yeah.
Selfishly. The Red Sox at seed 5 against the Yankees at seed 4, winner taking on Toronto. And the Red Sox, much like Cleveland, I'm sort of like going to do my talking heads. And you may ask yourself, how did we get here?
That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah, just like the music video that we watch. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That was bad. I tried, but it is a fascinating thing because the Red Sox traded Rafael Devers, who was their best player, to San Francisco, where Devers remained their best player. Yet Boston did better, and San Francisco did not. I sort of did a deep dive on Devers as a Giant. It's not like he started to stink. He was not potent, but
it's too good of a player. Yeah.
Yeah. It just wasn't the best field for him. It's still a fascinating thing how it sort of happened, but Boston just said, like, no, we're going to be here. And when we look at the pitchers, that opening game series, looks like it's going to be Garrett Crochet against Max Fried. That's going to be a lot of fun. And if Boston sort of wins that one, I think they have to, because beyond that, Boston's pitching looks like it's going to be Brian Bello and Lucas Giolito. And the Yankees have Carlos Rodon and Cam Schlittler.
Straight face.
Kyle Schlittler. I had to do something.
Game's going to the Schlitter right there.
Yeah. Again, your name is Schlittler, and you didn't think of like your family. Like, let's do something about this.
Right.
But
It
anyway,
just means like water in German, but okay.
what does it mean in German?
I
I don't
think
know what it
water.
means in German. I have a German dad, and all he ever taught me was Scheisen, which is shit, which is usually what he called me, shithead. But anyway, that's another story. Uh, Overall, with the pitching, for me, if they get through everything, my key on everything is the man who should not have been here, who we all wrote off. Well, I wrote him off 2 years ago, and that's Aroldis Chapman. He is
Yeah.
here. And if you get to the ninth and the Red Sox have a lead, you won.
Yeah.
This is the most incredible season non Mariano Rivera for a pitcher, a relief pitcher that I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yeah, I agree, and that he is definitely an X factor. So yeah, so going in, I think the Yankees lineup and being at home and that talk about rivalries and hostile environments, the Yankees fans bring it as good as any fans.
They're gonna have
You
to.
know, them and Philly are the two teams I think of like if you're going to go there, you are really going to be getting it from the fans. So the fans will be into it again, prime time, night games. So none of this, 12:30 who shows up on a Tuesday. Uh, but I like their pitching matchup. So Crochet could be an X factor if you can get that game one. If the Red Sox can get game one, I'll give them a chance. But I think the Red Sox, Stanton's hitting home runs like he did 10 years ago when he was
Right.
hitting them. And then you've got Aaron Judge, who it's him or rally for the MVP, but the guy, won the batting title and hit 50 home runs. I mean, he is all everything. When we're talking classic Yankees, one of the great classic Yankee seasons. I think that lineup is too much. They've even got some depth in it with some Greshams and some other guys. They got rid of DJ LeMahieu, a little bit the same thing. Hey, the guy's a contributor, but we got to move on. So I think, yeah, I like the Yankees in this series. I also, having played against Aroldis Chapman in the postseason, I find sometimes in the postseason he's not as locked in as in August against the White Sox or the Rangers, and so. I could
Mhm.
I could see that crowd getting to him a little bit, him not being the effective weapon that
Oh.
we saw
Mhm.
for the second half of the season, really the whole season, but particularly like the for the 3 or 4 months he didn't even allow a runner for like 35 innings or something. Um, but so I'm gonna go. Yeah, I like the Yankees. I think their offense is too much. Their bullpen is, but great, bite your nails. But I think they're gonna win it. I think if they beat, I think they'll win it in three. I think they'll either lose to Crochet and win both, or they'll beat Crochet and they'll slip up a little bit. I think it's a Yankees in three type series. I think both teams are good. An X factor for the Red Sox, as an Astros fan, is Alex Bregman. Dude has been there before. He's played 100 plus postseason games. He's a team leader. He had a great season too, set back by injury, but when he's been there, and that was kind of to the point you talked about. You get rid of a Devers guy who's like, I'm not going to play a different position because I'm Devers. Okay, you're gone. Bring in a Bregman guy that's just more of a quiet leader. I like that for the Red Sox, but I think the Yankees. If this series was in Fenway, I might flip it and say two to one, 2-1 Red Sox. But because it's in Yankee Stadium, because they've got the better starting pitching, because their hitters are hitting too good, I'm gonna think that they're gonna get to Chapman in Game 3, and that'll be it. They'll win that one.
Yeah, everything you just said is like completely possible for me.
Yeah,
Chapman, like you said, I mean, like this is gonna be a big test. If Chapman can sort of get through this in New York, and he's a fringe Hall of Famer to me.
I was
And
gonna bring that up. We got to start talking about that case.
yeah,
It's an unusual case. It's not like a classic closer for 30 years, like some of the, or not 30 years, 15 years, like some of these guys that have made the Hall of Fame, but he's played for so many winning teams. His stuff is so nasty. Use him wherever, and he's so good.
and this is his renaissance because I think
Yeah, yeah.
last year he was a Pittsburgh Pirate, and I forget who I said this to. But if you're a Pittsburgh Pirate in year 15 of your career, that's all I need to know about your career.
Right.
But the Red Sox said, okay, we're going to give you a shot. And here he is having the best year of his career out of a pretty goddamn good career.
Right.
And
World Series championships and all of it. Yeah. Tons of postseason appearances.
and the Red Sox fascinates me because like one of their top offensive players was somebody I wrote off already in Trevor Story.
Mm-hmm.
And here he is, he's back. Uh, on paper, the Yankees should like mop the floor with them, but they have some players who just find a way to lose. Devin
Yeah.
Williams, who was not that guy. I love Devin Williams. Anthony Volpe. And if I was a young Yankees fan, I would have been all over him like 2 years ago. And I can see why they've all abandoned him. This is the series for me to watch. Cody Bellinger, who is somebody, though, I want to cheer for because
Yeah.
former MVP who his career got resurrected.
The
Stanton,
lineup is so deep. Their lineup is so deep.
and Stanton, here's a guy, right? Uh, after his first year in New York, maybe I even have that wrong. He can't run.
Yeah.
I'm 53 and I built like a Smurf, and I think I got a 1-3 shot in beating him in a 100.
I can't believe they put him in the field at all. But I guess they put him in left field at Fenway and Yankee. Both are manageable. But
Stanton gets 500 home runs. Can you keep him out?
it'll be an interesting case. Probably maybe the McGriff treatment, where you kind of go
Yeah,
a
but
few years.
Stanton was an MVP.
It's true.
Stanton was a star, and Stanton was the best, is iconic in two different teams. Well, iconic with the Marlins,
Yeah.
or whatever that means.
Yeah.
Whereas Fred McGriff went from place to place to place to place to place.
That was a big thing for McGriff, and I think certainly if Stanton was to have a postseason moment like a Freddie Freeman last year, where he hit some big home runs and they made it all the way and won the World Series, I think that would. I don't keep people out of the Hall of Fame for their postseason play, but I think about a close resume, and if you had good postseason play, I'll let you. Like, I don't keep out of Billy Wagner because he's like, oh, his postseason was bad. It's a short sample size.
I did.
Well,
Yeah,
I know.
It didn't work, but I tried.
Yeah, but so I won't keep you out for it. But certainly, if he has the postseason that he played this last week, I could. I guess that's a different show. But so did you give a prediction, Kirk? Did I hear Red Sox in 3? Did I hear Yankees?
No. Yeah, no. I'm actually with you. I got the Yankees. I have the Yankees in 3.
Okay.
I don't think what was the only one we had differently? Actually,
I had Detroit over Cleveland.
and I had Cleveland. Yeah, so pretty much the same thing. Just that's the only one we have differently. And based on my betting or like my predictions, go with Dave.
I said, no, just flip them all.
No, because like I'm never right. Or flip the other 3. Yeah, that'll sort of like work. But like this has sort of been a lot of fun. Congrats to Major League Baseball. I think this has been a fun regular season. I've enjoyed it a lot. I think you've enjoyed it a lot. And hopefully there's not going to be a work stoppage in a year from now.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about that, Kirk. We're talking same thing. But I like, I'll just jump on. I like the fact that there's 3 divisions in each league. It's not an NBA 1 through 16 where you just start stacking teams. It made really exciting races for Cleveland and Detroit. You had really exciting races even for the Dodgers, Padres, for the Yankees, Blue Jays. I mean, 1 game different, Kirk, and you guys will be playing the Red Sox. The Yankees will be sitting back waiting to see who gets to come to Yankee Stadium with all that rich pitching staff. So that made for an exciting last week, rather than again fighting over onesie twosies. So I love the MLB format.
And that for me, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I think that's huge for the Jays because, my God, I find that team so flawed.
Yeah, they don't look like a team that's just a bunch of world beaters, but they beat the world so far. Number 1 seed.
Number 1. Well, I mean the bet makers agree with you, the odds makers, and I agree with them. They are, my God. Well, I mean, our best hitter this year, or most consistent rather, is one of your guys.
It's George Springer.
That's right. So
former World Series MVP.
Friday we're going to be doing this again, buddy.
Yeah.
So like this has been a lot of fun. So like either way, let's just have some fun with this. It's baseball. My God, it means so much. It is the fabric of our history. More Dave because he's American. I'm Canadian.
Now we love Canadian baseball fans. Bring back Montreal.
Well, let's get a better stadium.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Then once that happens, then we're all sort of like down for that. But as I always close off, wherever you are, wherever you may be, make today count because it never comes again unless that DeLorean works. Take care, everybody.